Hello 95 gamers! After all this time, it seems like the latest buffs and nerfs are upon us. Now we have over 20 characters getting adjusted in this patch, and I'm really excited to get into it. This released literally just like earlier today. I was prepping for Koa while it released, so I'm actually really excited to take a look at it. I haven't seen anything yet, so let's just take a look together. All right, here we go. It is time to take a look at the latest patch notes. This is, of course, coming from at Mori_identity on twitter.com. Make sure to go give them a follow if you're interested in like looking at more of their, I guess, like Identity 5 updates. I think they get a lot of their stuff from Weibo. I'm not entirely sure. But let's see here. So first off, we have Peddler. This is not really an adjustment. This is just, you know, the new character Peddler. Her story trailer has already been released. I actually haven't seen it yet. Apparently her gameplay trailer is supposed to come out very soon. If she's supposed to be on the test server tomorrow, we should have it soon. So I'll probably react to both things in one video. That way I just can keep things easier. It's just been such a hectic, busy time. But let's see here. She's a hunter with wide range of general goods, merchant skills, who specializes in chasing and has a certain degree of control. Okay, so she's gonna be a chase and somewhat map pressure hunter. Not really crazy on the camping side, which I'm honestly fine with. Like I kind of like hunters that are like this, you know, that have decent chase and decent control, but like not very good camp. I don't know. I think camping hunters are really boring, so. She could potentially be very interesting. Hopefully her gameplay will come out later today or tomorrow, whenever, and it should be a fun time to take a look at that. Okay, so now we're getting into the buffs and nerfs. As a reminder, I believe there are like 20-something characters getting buffed, and there are 3 characters getting nerfed. The 3 characters that are getting nerfed are Hullabaloo, Goatman, and Mechanic. Yes, Mechanic actually is really strong in this meta. So it makes sense for her to get nerfed. Now, first up, we have the Mechanic nerfs, decoding speed reduction due to the external trait, cowardice, 25% to 30%. Okay, so in the past, she was minus 35 for each hit, right? And then they're like, okay, Mechanic's extremely weak right now in the meta. She's really hard to use. So instead of minus 35, let's bump it up to minus 25 per hit. But what they didn't notice was that they essentially gave Mechanic a 20% decoding buff, which is kind of insane. Imagine any character getting a 20% decoding buff. That's literally what they gave Mechanic. That's insane. By the way, with her bot still out there. That's insane. I don't think you understand how broken that is. A 20% decoding buff. That'd be like, let's just give like, you know, freaking Doc a 20% decoding buff, because why not? You know? Because why not? It's kind of insane, dude. But now they're trying to find a balancing area for it. So like, okay, yeah, 25 was definitely too much. Let's go to 30. So it's not as bad as 35. It's 30 instead. So essentially they're only giving her a 10% buff instead. That's still pretty decent. This nerf is not crazy to Mechanic, but it is something. Next up, we have Mind's Eye Buffs. First up we have is the heavy hit cooldown. It goes from 50 seconds to 45 seconds. I can only assume that's going to be the cane. Whenever you go like the little tap, boom, it reveals the hunter's location for like 7 seconds. And it also, what is it? Like slows down their interaction speed for 7 seconds. That has a 5-second shorter cooldown, so that's gonna be nice for Mind's Eye. Hunters affected by the sonic waves of a heavy smack will no longer be able to see the outlines of survivors. Gonna be honest, I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah, that's interesting. And then decrease in board window operation speed due to the external trait frailty, 22% to 15%. I thought it was 23. I could have sworn it was 23. Well, either way, so Mind's Eye has terrible vaulting speed, right? It's minus 22, minus 23, whatever. In the past, it was minus 30. It was bad. She used to have a 30% decoding buff for a minus 30 on vaulting speed, but now it seems like they're trying to make Mind's Eye a little bit of a better kiter, give her a debuff of minus 15% on her vaulting speed instead of minus 22, so that's not great. Still, it's really not that great, but it is helpful. It is very helpful, so I do appreciate that. Next up, we have Melee Buffs. This one I am super excited for. So first up, countdown after the swarm of insects is dispersed goes from 20 seconds to 15 seconds. That is so nice. Okay, I gotta talk about this because Weeping Clown and Grave also had a 20 second long cooldown, and their abilities are, I hate to say it, they're probably just objectively better than Melee's. And they got their cooldowns reduced. Grave's Shovel went from 20 to 13 seconds for the cooldown. And then Weeping Clowns went from 20 to 16. Now, finally, Melly gets to join those two, and hers goes down to 15. That is going to be so nice because you get your bees back 5 seconds sooner when you pull them back. If you're trying to like beta swing or something, it can be so helpful. And then durability loss when a swarm is attacked goes from 40% to 35%. That is nice, I think. I'm not really sure how you divide that in half, though. I'm guessing it's going to be like 17.5 instead of 20%. That's really nice, actually. That is really nice. That gives her a little bit of extra bee durability, which is super nice. And then survivors in a certain range can now see the outline of the insect swarms. This is also very nice as well. That way, because so many times I'm trying to give people my bees. I'm like, here's my bees, here's my bees, here's my bees. Never walks for my bees. It doesn't do anything, right? This is going to be super helpful, right? Especially when it comes to assist. These are really good buffs for Entomologists. I still wish there was one more thing, and I wish she could call back her bees when she's downed. That's the biggest thing that could actually help her out so much, because hunters usually love to just hit her out of her swarm and then just boom, double tap her bees, and then her item is essentially just gone. She's the only character in the game where you can just basically do that, right? It's kind of sad. I mean, I guess you can do it to like Toy Merchant if you hit her out of the catapult, but it feels really bad when that happens to you as well. You can sometimes push them away in time, but a good hunter will usually like pick you up before then and then like smack your bees and then put you in a chair. I don't know. I was hoping she would get that as well, but this is also really nice. I was also hoping that when it comes to chips hitting her bees, they wouldn't do full damage. It looks like that is still going to be the case, unfortunately. But this is a very good set of buffs for Melly, and I'm actually really excited for it, because it's just going to make her kiting a little more consistent, and that's really good because she's not that strong in the current meta, so I'm really happy about this. Next up, it is going to be Grave. Now let's see here. If the Gravekeeper underground stealth state is interrupted, the remaining usage time of the Iron Shovel would be reduced by 10 seconds instead of being fully consumed. Okay, that's not if he's hit, right? There's no way. That would be broken. That would actually be broken. Is that being hit? Or is that like if he's hit while he's trying to enter the shovel? I think that's what it's supposed to be, because it's like the underground stealth state is interrupted. So what happens to Grave is when he's trying to get inside the shovel, if you hit him during that animation, he loses the shovel entirely, like completely loses the shovel. But now it seems like if you hit him during that animation, he's only going to get a 10% or a 10-second reduction on his shovel, which I believe lasts for 30 seconds anyway, so it's like 10 seconds less. And I actually think this is a really good buff for Grave, because he essentially gets to keep an extra shovel. And I'm hoping that like when it comes to like Hullabaloo Red and whatnot as well, that this also happens, because it's just interrupted. So I guess it does say interrupted, not just like hit out of. So yeah, I think any moment when you're interrupted during the digging animation, you're only going to lose 10 seconds on a shovel durability instead of a full thing. So that's going to be really nice for Grave. Again, Grave has been getting nothing but buffs recently, so he's looking really good in this current meta. Okay, next set of buffs here. This is going to be a long one. I'm not really sure what we're looking at here. But we have Mage, Embalmer, Explorer, and Lucky Guy buffs. These are all buffs, just so we know. First up, we have Magician. Let's see. Magician and Survivors can now perform operations such as climbing over windows and knocking down boards even while using their wands. Okay, I'm guessing that's like during the wanding animation, which lasts for like a second or so, I think. Change so that illusions created by the walking stick no longer impede your movement. I'm guessing like you'll be able to walk through the illusion, but the hunter won't, I think, so you can use them for body blocks easier. Then corrected the skill description regarding the acceleration time after using a stick. Okay, I'm not really sure what that's about. Then we have movement speed while using a walking stick, 40% to 50%. Okay, so when Mage uses a wand, he gets a 40% buff for 2 seconds. Now he's gonna get a 50% speed buff. Did I say buff? I meant speed buff. It gets a 50% speed bonus for 2 seconds. That's gonna be really nice. Gives Mage a little more speed to get away there, which is really nice. When the illusion is attacked and then disappears, the Magician receives the acceleration effect again. Ooh. Oh, that is really good, actually. That's so good. Especially, dude, that's so good. Oh my gosh, that's gonna make Mage so much better. Because if you hit the wand, that means if he's like has it in a pallet to body block, he can move back and forth. And if you swing at it, he gets another speed boost. Oh, that's gonna make Mage so much better. That's gonna make Mage so much better, dude. Oh my gosh. And then let's see here. The Phantoms are now bitten by the Cats of the Apostles and have been changed to block the magnetic field of the Hermit. Okay. I'm guessing what this means is that if you have a decoy out, whatever the decoy will essentially take the cat. That's cool. So that means mage is an and counter. I love seeing and counters. So that's awesome. And then also have been changed to block the magnetic field of the hermit. I'm guessing if you use a wand and hermit stuns you, it'll hit the wand instead. So this entire set is actually beautiful. These are actually insanely strong mage buffs. Again, these are all on test servers, so these aren't guaranteed, but this is a really nice set of buffs. So far, this is actually the best set of buffs I've seen. Yeah, this is probably the best set so far. Mage got a really, really good set of buffs here. That is really, really good for Mage. Next up, we have Embalmer. Let's see here. Optimize display of number of Embalmer in coffins. The coffin movement icon has been optimized to display the number of unused coffins. Okay, sure, that's fine. The effect that occurs when a survivor is revived from a coffin has been renamed to Invincible. Okay. While Invincible, you are immune to the accumulation of moisture, wax, and corrosion. And you are immune to powerful control effects such as restraint. Okay, wait, what? Okay, so you used to be immune to corrosion. I don't think you were immune to wax or moisture, but then they adjusted it so you were impacted by corrosion when it came to Ivy. But I guess now you're not. Then you're immune to powerful control effects such as restraints. I'm not really sure what that is. I'm guessing like a debuff or a Gamekeeper trap or something. A Gamekeeper hook. I don't know. Then when the invincibility ends, your movement speed is increased by 40% for 1 second. Okay, so when that bubble pops, I'm guessing, you have 1 second of a speed boost. So that's something, right? That's something. Gives you a tiny, tiny little boost before your bubble pops, which is actually really nice. So you get a shield, and then the Tide Tinner, and then a whole speed bonus too. That's actually really nice. Not the craziest buff of all time, honestly, but these are nice. These are nice for Embalmer. They are definitely nice. Next up is Explorer. Let's see here. Adventure/Cipher pages will no longer appear more than 70 meters away. Okay, I'm guessing that's just at the start, or is that in general? I'm actually not sure. Successful skill checks when deciphering a cipher machine will now grant an additional 0.8% progress. Ooh. Is that on perfect calibrations or just on every calibration? Okay, so let's say on average you get like what, 5 to 6 calibrations per cipher. So if you're not, let's just say it's just like any successful calibration, because it just says successful skill check, it doesn't say perfect calibration. That's gonna be like a 5% decoding buff. That's actually good for Explorer. Like that helps him cipher even faster. Yeah, that is nice. And then let's see here. Adventurers who are small will no longer be targeted by certain skills, such as the tentacles of the Lord in Yellow or the clone of Hullabaloo. Oh, that is so nice. That is so nice. Okay, so tentacles used to spot out the Explorer. I believe full presence statues from Sculpture do not anymore. And now the clone for Hullabaloo won't do that anymore either. That is so nice, dude. Oh, that is actually so nice. That way, you know, his book actually means something and he's gonna be able to hide. And Hullabaloo can't just be like, clone, and I win for free. So that's another small nerf to Hullabaloo. We haven't even got to Hullabaloo's nerf, so that is really nice. Honestly, that's a good set of buffs for Explorer. It doesn't really, you know, make him a better kite or anything, but it helps his gimmick of hiding a little better against Feaster and Hullabaloo, so those matchups are a bit stronger now. And he decodes a little faster. Like around, on average, let's just say 5% faster. That's pretty good, honestly. That is very, very good. Finally, here we have Lucky Guy. His box opening speed has been increased from 60% to 100%. Opening action is also smoother. I'm guessing when he opens up a chest, he opens it faster. I don't know, like the actual animation of it opening. So maybe that's something. And this is nice because Toy Merchant actually has a 100% buff on opening chests, but Lucky Guy, whose gimmick is chest, has a less one than her. I don't know. That's nice for Lucky. That gives him like what, a couple extra seconds of, you know, not having to dig through the chest, and he can go to a cipher then. The number of wands obtainable from boxes and lucky packages has been changed to 2. Okay, so that's something, I guess. I didn't know the decoy was only 1. Flashlight a wish success has been adjusted to 100%. I didn't even know it was at 50, but that's nice if you want to try and get a flashlight for, you know, something that really, you know, so a hunter that really gets hurt to flashlight, you can get that 100% guaranteed. And then if your wish fails, you will now receive a random item from your possession that has a 50% chance of being wished upon. Okay. So what items have a 50% chance? I guess gun, pocket watch, bot? I think that's it. So that's cool. So that's interesting. So if the wish fails, because I know a lot of them are 100%. If the wish fails, that means you're guaranteed to get a relatively rare quote unquote item, right? So like usually you say like, oh, I want to get a gun, and it gives you a syringe, and it's like, well, you lose, it's over, you're cooked. But now, if you wish for a gun, you're guaranteed to get a bot, pocket watch, or gun, or whatever else is 50. I'm pretty sure it's only those 3. I could be wrong. I don't play Lucky Guy that much, but it's that sounds like what we have here. That sounds like what we have. That's a nice buff as well. That is a nice buff to Lucky. Is it gonna matter and make him a better character? No, honestly, not really. These aren't really crazy buffs by any means necessary. It's just gonna make Lucky Guy slightly better. Yeah, this just makes him slightly better, slightly more consistent. Not good at all, but slightly better. I'm sure Lucky Guy fans, all 2 of them out there, are very happy about this. Next set of buffs here. First one is going to be for Seer, and this one isn't a buff for Seer. This is an adjustment to giving an owl. So let's see here. When observing other survivors as a fortune teller or owl, a special mark and sound effect will now be displayed at the icon location of the target survivor. Hunter cannot see or hear this. Okay, so what I'm guessing this means is this is something that I've always wanted to be a thing. Is the target survivor will basically get a notification saying, hey, the Seer is spectating you. You can do a risky thing or take a risky vault, etc. I like that. That's a really nice change. This should have been in the game so long ago, but it seems like they're finally putting it in, and that is really nice. Next up, we have Little Girl Buffs. First thing is initial charge amount of the memory fragment is 1.25, is being buffed to 1.6. I believe the page cooldown is 60 seconds. You get a page every 60 seconds. And you start with 1.25, but now you're gonna have 1.6, which is really nice. So by the time you finish your rotation, you'll likely have 2 pages for a kite, which is really nice. And then you're just gonna have to kite 60 seconds for your 3rd page, but that is quite nice. You know, that's a lot of extra page durability from the start of the game. That actually is gonna help out Little Girl quite a bit if she gets chased first. Survivors can now interact with planks and windows while being pushed out by the impact of a memory fragment. I'm guessing like while you're in the shove animation, you could potentially cancel the shove animation with a vault or a window. That seems pretty good. I'll have to see it in motion. Hopefully it gives you like a guaranteed fast vault or something. I don't know. That could be really good, because I know Little Girl can like cancel she can do like the page rescue trick, but I don't know how consistent it is with doing it like with windows and palettes, so we'll see. And then finally, increased push distance caused by memory fragments. It doesn't say how much, but this is gonna be nice because so many hunters can just like, you know, walk around it or like backstep and then instantly move forward again. So it's just gonna make Little Girl slightly more consistent. Will this make her a good character? In my opinion, no. Is it gonna help Little Girl a lot? Yes, definitely. But by no means will she become meta by this. This is just gonna help Little Girl slightly more. You know, it's like, it's same as like the Lucky Guy buffs. Actually, it's better than the Lucky Guy buff. It is. But this, I would say like, yeah, these are overall pretty fine. Next up here, we have the Patient's Claw firing motion is shortened. This is really nice. So when you try to hook onto something as Patient, you have a whole, I want to say, not a full second, but it's like, depending on how far you're hooking away from you, there's a good amount of time that it takes for the hook to go all, like the hooked animation to hook onto the thing, and then for Emil to pull himself upward toward where he's going. So now that animation is going to be a little bit faster, so you won't be able to get hit out of it as easily, and you won't be able to get cancelled out of it easily as well. Recently, I was up against a breaking wheel, and I tried to hook while he was getting out of wheel form, but because of how long that animation took, his full presence canceled it. So maybe with that buff, that will no longer happen. And then let's see here. Survivors will no longer be interrupted by collisions with other survivors while being pulled to an obstacle by their claws or while kicking and jumping. Okay, this is nice as well. So the hunter can still body block a hook, but a survivor cannot. Honestly, I didn't even know this was a thing, but this is really, really nice because now like nobody can get in the way of your hook, and that is super, super nice. Then we have add an on and off switch for the vault function. Default is on. This is so nice. This is such a nice change because, oh my gosh, dude. There are so many times where I'm playing patient and I don't want to vault. I want the distance. And because I like move ever so slightly, it becomes a yellow hook and not a white one. And I instantly... and I instantly just vault and I die. It's so cringe, bro. But this is gonna be really, really nice for patient. And then let's see here. If turned off, the claws will always kick obstacles to jump. Okay, I'm guessing that just means like he'll just kick off stuff like he usually does. I guess. I don't know. That I kind of just assume that. Yeah. Next up, we have a Cowboy Adjustment / buff here. Let's see. When a Cowboy / hunter is hitting a player with a rope while vaulting over a window, the Cowboy will no longer be interrupted by the hunter's vaulting action. Okay, honestly, I don't know what this means. Yeah, I don't know what this means. I don't really play Cowboy, but I guess when the hunter is vaulting, maybe you can jump over them. I don't know. I don't know what this means. I really don't know what this means. I don't play Cowboy enough to know. Comments, you'll have to help me out with this one. It seems like a nice buff, kind of niche, but yeah, I don't know. All right, next up, we have Hullabaloo and Goatman Nerfs. And I'm just like scanning through these. These look huge. So first up, Hullabaloo's base movement speed is being reduced from 5.26 to 5.18. Now this isn't very significant, but let me tell you, that 0.08 is actually huge. That is huge. It means so much. It actually means so much, trust me. It doesn't look very much, but it matters. This matters significantly. Next up is normal attack action time increased to 0.43 seconds. This is so nice because Hullabaloo's launching, his normal attack right now is 0.35. That is being upped by 0.08 again. So his attack is going to be far more reactable, which is so nice because the more he spams it, the longer, like the more he spams it, the more he misses. That means the less time he has, and like the more time is being eaten up. And it also means that he is very reactable now to Flywheel. That is very, very helpful. Secondly, his skill Double Surprise, which is the clone. The cooldown for that is going from 12 seconds to 14 seconds. So a 2-second increase on Double Surprise is very, very nice. And then this one is huge. The number of charges for the skill Flying Trapeze is going from 1 out of 3 to 1 out of 2. So this is crazy, to my knowledge. They are making it so his max charge on the Urts is 2, not 3. This is huge. I am not kidding. This is huge. This is a massive nerf, if you ask me. This is going to be a huge, huge nerf. And then Flying Trapeze dash time goes from 1 second to 0.8 seconds. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing when he uses it on not on like an ability, he will just like dash forward for a whole second usually, but now it's only going to be 1 or 0.8 seconds. So these are 5 significant nerfs to Hullabaloo, and I am all for it, bro. Hullabaloo is so broken right now that he needs this, bro. He absolutely needs this. Honestly, this is going to hurt Hullabaloo a lot. This is going to hurt Hullabaloo a lot. Will he still be a very good character? Yes, because the thing is, still no attack recovery. That is still going to be so important. But is he going to be a lot more manageable? Yes. I feel like these nerfs are kind of what Opera got, right? Where Opera was able to dominate for like almost a whole year. Hullabaloo doesn't get a whole year. Looks like he only gets like a half a year, and Koa 8, of course. But he's going to get hit really hard. He's going to be hit very, very hard, which is so nice. Honestly, it is so nice. And then next up, we have Goatman Nerfs too. So let's see here. Lamb of the Leglid. This is going to be Goatman. Reduces the recovery speed of the Power of Hatred by 10% at stages 0 and 2. So I'm guessing this is going to be his resentment recharge rate. So he recharges resentment at 1.8 per second. So it looks like that's going to be reduced by 10%. So now he's going to have a lot less resentment at the start of the game, and just in general. His max presence still makes it charge a little bit faster, but even then, it is not by that much. This is going to be very, very helpful because now he will have less cages more frequently, or less cages less frequently, I should say. That is very nice. When the survivor near the rocket chair, the range in which the cage can be deactivated faster has been slightly expanded, which is good because so many times Goatman has been like putting a cage right next to a chair, but it's not that far in, and it still will take a full like second and a half to break the cage, which usually leads into a free double down, or like a free stuff rescue if he has like a ton of energy. So this is going to be really, really nice for rescuing against Goatman. Super, super nice. Then charge time for the skill Cage Overrun goes from 20 seconds to 24 seconds. I'm guessing what this is the backstep ability. Honestly, this means nothing. That honestly this does nothing. Backstep is good, but pro players barely use it. So is it good? Yes, but like, is this a significant nerf? No. Is it something? Sure, but it's basically gonna do nothing to his kit. But this one right here, this is huge. This is massive. This is a massive, massive nerf. Normal attack range going from 3.37 to 3.12. This is huge. I am not kidding. This might just make Goatman, I can't say garbage, but this is actually gonna make Goatman so much more dealable because now his range is so mid. It is so mid. 3.37, that's pretty good. 3.12, that's a 0.25 reduction in hitbox. That is massive. That is absolutely massive. Now Goatman's gonna be swinging all the time and he's gonna be missing. All these people that are so used to his hitbox, he's gonna be missing all the time. And then charge attack too, 3.88 to 3.63. Less significant, but that's still quite a bit. And that's the same distance too. That's the same by 0.25. 0.25 meters. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but that is literally insane. That is literally insane, dude. That is a huge, significant nerf to Goatman. Because now you're gonna be able to kite inside the cages easier, and just in general, like the pallet mind games that you have to do against this character, he's gonna win less of them because his range is not gonna be as good. He can't hit through pallets as easy. He has to like commit further in, which leads to him being more easily pallet stunned. So that is so nice, dude. That is actually so nice. Incredibly nice. These are massive nerfs to Hullabaloo Goatman, and I am here for it, bro, because these characters are way too good. I am very happy about these nerfs. Very, very good nerfs to both of these two. Next up here, we have an Evil Reptilian adjustment buff. The duration of the magic lizard and balloon attack has been extended. Okay, I'm just gonna assume that his balloon swinging hitbox is better. Like it's just a better hitbox when he's trying to hit you like while he's holding a survivor. I guess that's something. Yeah, I don't know. Then Clerk, let's see here. Scribe, when making a declaration in a position with a difference in height, the target selection judgment has been optimized. Okay. That's more like an adjustment. That's like a control adjustment. That's not really a buff or a nerf. That's just a control adjustment. All right, next 4 buffs. These are crazy, bro. This is Wu Chang, Bonbon, Gamekeeper. I don't know why they're buffing Gamekeeper, bro. He does not need a buff. And then Wheel is getting buffed as well. Here we go. This is gonna be crazy. All right. Whew. When a survivor is hit by the black and white impermanence or black impermanence's swaying spirit and adjustment fails, the controlled state cannot be released by switching to another movement state or by using a unique move. Okay. I don't know what this means. Switching to another movement state, what? I don't know what that means. It's just like when Blackguard, like when you're like reverse control. Yeah, I don't know. That's lost in translation. I don't know what's up with that. The activation of black permanences. Shaking Spirit has been slightly shortened. Cooldown from 15 seconds to 14 seconds. I'm guessing that's the Bell cooldown? I think? Sure, I think that's Bell cooldown. Let's see here. The duration that debuffs, the slow control speed, slow movement speed, outline display, within the same range will last even after the survivor leaves the umbrella range for 5 seconds to 8 seconds. Oh, I honestly didn't know that was a thing. Okay, so I guess they're debuffed a little bit longer. That's nice. Haku Mujo's normal attack range goes from 2.95 to 3.15. Wow. Is that the Blackguard? No, that's the White Guard. So White Guard normal attack is going from 2.95 to 3.15. That's really good for White Guard, because White Guard's normal attack hitbox is actually kind of bad. His charge attack is huge, but the normal attack is kind of bad, but increasing it by 20 meters, that is so good. That's going to make him hit so much more consistently. That is actually huge. That is actually really good for Wuchang. And then Kudo Mujo. Oh, Kudo, that's black. Normal attack range going from 2.78 to 3.06. And then charge attack going from 3.04 to 3.2. Okay, so the range on his basic attack is now better than his old charge attack range for Blackguard. That's kind of insane. That's a 0.28 increase in hitbox range. 0.28. That is huge. That's massive. These aren't little buffs, by the way, everybody. These matter. These are so huge, dude. All those times where Wuchang is like swinging at you and it's like, oh, that doesn't hit. Oh, that doesn't hit. Now it's gonna hit. Now it's gonna hit. That's important for him. That is very, very, very important for him. All these hits where he'd be swinging on top of Survivor and they don't get hit, they're gonna get hit now. All those times where I suffered as Wuchang because my hits just weren't hitting, now they're all gonna hit. Now he's actually like, now it's actually gonna hit. That's crazy, dude. That's actually kind of crazy. Oh boy. Let's see. Next up we have Bonbon. What? New external trait, explosion only seat added? What? Hold on. You can use one time bomb to place on a rocket chair the survivor is tied to. Each bomb accelerates the elimination rate of the survivor by 4 seconds. What? He has built-in sadist? Oh, nah. He has built-in sadist now. Oh, that's crazy. That's scary. So when you have to rescue his Bonbon, he's gonna apply so much more pressure on the camp. They just made his camp even stronger. Oh my gosh. After the first bomb is planted, a 25-second countdown begins, and multiple bombs can be placed at once, up to a maximum of 5. What? If you do so before the 10-second mark? What? Oh, that's crazy. When the countdown ends, all bombs on the rocket chair will explode and be calculated at the same time. If the survivor is rescued during the countdown, all bombs will be deactivated. What? Skill remote bomb cooldown 35 seconds to 30 seconds. Activation motion time reduced by 0.2 second or 0.4 second or 0.4 seconds. Okay. So his remote bomb has an increase on 5-second cooldown. That's good. Activation motion time. I don't really know what that part means. Whatever this built-in sadist, like explosion only sadist, that seems crazy. That's an entirely new skill for camp. I don't really know how that's gonna work, but essentially, if nothing else, like I don't really know about the multiple bombs. I don't know if that's gonna help that much, because like he's gonna lose a ton of bombs if he does that. But yeah, this is good. This is gonna make his camp insane, because now it's a 5. He essentially makes your chair time 5 less seconds. That's crazy, dude. Or is it 4? I guess it does say 4. Each bomb accelerates the elimination rate of the survivor by 4 seconds. Wait. I mean, each bomb. Does that mean you can, like, have, like, shove 6 bombs in the chair and then, boom, instantly, like, they die? How does that work? I don't know how that works, bro. That's so weird. We'll have to see. Either way, he's going to have some form of built-in status, and that's really scary. Let's see here. Okay. Oh dear, I see the Gamekeeper Buffs. I already knew this was coming, bro. Reduces recovery time by 0.3 seconds when a normal attack or balloon attack misses. Okay, so Gamekeeper, when he misses a swing, he is stuck for like a full second, right? He feels so clunky like that, right? But now he recovers 0.3 seconds faster. This is actually huge. This is extremely good for Gamekeeper, because now he's going to be able to swing again a lot quicker. So all those times where you think you have like a whole full second and a half to like drop a pallet against the Gamekeeper, no, you don't. Not anymore. Nope. You know, one of his biggest weaknesses is gone now. Yep, they just took that away. I knew that they would take that away eventually, bro, because it was the same thing with Leo. They took away Leo's. Like, Leo had that too. Now these hunters can just be clicking buttons like crazy. The vibration effect range of Pressure of Hatred is increased by 20%. I'm guessing that's like when the hook hits nearby you and you go like, whoa, and you like flap around and you go slow all of a sudden. It's funny because they actually decreased that in Koa 7 because it was like he was so OP in Koa 7, and I guess now they're bringing it back, so that's interesting. Yeah, I think that's what that is. I'm pretty sure, unless that's a nerf and then that's like a decrease on trap range, but I'm pretty sure Pressure of Hatred is like the effect on the hook. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Finally, we have some wheel buffs here. Broken Ring, my bad. Skill's silence cooldown goes from 5 seconds to 4 seconds. Charge time is 60 seconds to 14 seconds. Nail board flight speed is increased by 20 seconds. What? Huh? Yeah, okay. I don't know what the silence cooldown is. Charge time 16 seconds. Okay, those are his speed boosts. So he gets more speed boosts more often. Nail board flight speed increased by 20%. I don't know what nail board flight speed means. I don't know. Is that just his speed when he goes faster? No, he's going to be even faster. That's scary. And then cooldown of form switching goes from 7 seconds to 5 seconds. Okay. I mean, that's nice. So he won't be stuck in wheel form as often. He can switch back and forth more consistently. That's nice for him. All right, I just looked at Wheel's kit. So I think I know what the 5 second thing is. It's the spike. So when you get hit by a spike, you're kind of immune to the next spike for a little while, aside from full presence. For 5 whole seconds, you're immune to the next spike. But now, that's reduced to 4 seconds. So now, within 1 more second, he'll be able to put a second spike on you. So that's gonna be really nice. That's gonna be really nice for Wheel, especially if he has like, you know, if he's 1 second away from, you know, that little tight kite situation where he's just like, oh, if only I could just apply another spike on you sooner. Now he can. So that's quite a lot of adjustments for him. So he's got the spike cooldown, like in between cooldown is now 4 seconds instead of 5. His thing charges 2 seconds faster. His speed boost when he's in wheel form, and then I'm guessing the boost that he goes when he goes really, really fast is now 20% faster. That's gonna be really fast, actually. That's really fast. That's gonna be scarily fast. 20% faster when he's already in crazy fast. Yeah, that's actually really terrifying. And now he can just switch forms faster. So yeah, that's gonna be some really nice buffs for Wheel. Flywheel still kills him. It does, but he's gonna be more consistent now. That actually seems pretty scary. I don't know if that's gonna make him a lot better, but like, that's scary. These are some nice buffs to these guys. These are definitely some nice buffs. All right, next up we have some buffs and optimizations for these 4 hunters: Fool's Gold, Smiley, Percy, and Weaver. First up we have here is Fool's Gold. So the cooldown of the Fool's Gold skill on the brink of explosion is reduced to 16 seconds, and the time it takes to charge power is reduced by 0.25 seconds. Okay, that is full presence. So the full presence, when he's instantly able to like apply the chip, that's a 20-second cooldown. That's going to be reduced to 16 seconds. That's really nice for Fool's Gold. And it also is going to, you know, take less time to charge up. I think it takes like 1.5 seconds for it to charge. Now it's only going to take 1.25, I think, which is really, really nice. Yeah, that's actually really nice for him. Optimize the logic when hitting an obstacle and stopping during towing. Okay, I'm guessing that's like when he's zooming. So that's gonna be nice, you know, some better logic on that. And then let's see, added explanation of CT to the skill magnetic conversion. Okay, that doesn't matter. That's nothing. Okay, so essentially he has a little better dash logic, and then he has a quicker cooldown on his full presence. So again, this is not gonna make Fool's Gold a better character. This is gonna make his full presence a little bit stronger. Not by a lot, just a little bit. So Fool's Gold is essentially going from, you know, mid to like slightly less mid. Honestly, that is a very meh buff. Let's see here. Then optimize the logic for determining when a gesture or rocket dash is interrupted by a collision with an obstacle on the map. Okay. I'm guessing that's going to make Smiley's dashes more consistent. I think. Yeah, I guess. Then optimize modification part spawning logic to reduce the chance of them being spawned near complex objects. Okay, so that means like more stuff will spawn out in the open and less in like crowded areas, I'm guessing. Then resistance new effect added. What? If a survivor interrupts you during a rocket dash, the parts you use will be refunded. However, you'll need to re-equip them again. Okay, that's nice. That's actually really nice. So like if you flywheel an infinite dash, you keep the parts. Because I know that's something that like in the late game clowns will start losing, is like they won't have any more infinite rocket parts. But now they will if it gets interrupted. So that's going to be really nice for clown. That is going to be very, very nice for clown. Although I don't know if that counts against stuff like melee bees. Because I think if you hit melee bees, that still counts as like an object that you've hit, I think. I always forget. But you know, if you're hit out of it like an anti-flu, a flywheel, etc., you get it back. So that's a nice small buff. Then let's see here. Reduce the recovery time when finishing a rocket dash or hitting a board by 0.2 seconds. I guess that's if you crash. Reduce the recovery time when interrupted by a map collision by 0.3 seconds. Okay. All right, so if you accidentally crash into a wall, you recover by 0.3 seconds faster. And then if you accidentally hit a board, if you hit a pallet, you're gonna go slower, or you're gonna recover 0.2 seconds faster, it looks like. So that's something, I guess. And then modification times have been reduced from 2, 3, and 4 seconds to 1.5, 2.4, and 3.3 seconds, depending on how many parts you're putting on. So is this significant? Not really, but you know, every second counts in this game, and that's gonna matter. That is going to matter. You know, all those parts that he puts on, you know, that could stack up. You know, you save 0.5 seconds here, you save 0.5 seconds here. And in general, like in the long run, you save like maybe 3 to 4 seconds. And that is so helpful as Hunter, because every second in this game counts. It really does. So is it going to be very significant? Not really. But will it matter potentially in a match? Yes, very well it could. It very well could. Let's see here. Next up we have Percy. Optimize hit detection and animation for undead and flying slash. I'm guessing that's like when he jumps up and then slams down. I guess he has like better hit detection on that. I mean, that hitbox is already massive, so are they gonna make it even better? I don't know. Reduce stiffness time after using flying slash. I guess there's less end lag on the big Percy slam, I think. Or maybe that's when he just like goes up only. Maybe not the grand slam, but only when he goes up. So that way he can, you know, move quicker with above 50% energy. I don't know, like cross the map quicker. I don't know. Then slightly shorten the pre-activation motion of the skill Energy Shock. Okay, I'm guessing that's the big Percy blast. You know, when he goes like, that has a big wide range slash, then he goes, huh. I'm guessing like the startup animation for that is going to be a little faster. So you might be able to catch more people off guard with that. That's something good. That's something good for Percy. The hit range spread speed of the skill charged heavy attack has been increased by 20%. I'm guessing when he does like the big Percy blast, right? You know, he does the first part and then he stuns you and the second part does damage, right? I'm guessing it comes out faster or has range increased by 20%. I don't know. Either way, it's going to make big Percy blast more consistent. So this is not crazy for Percy. This is not going to really impact him at all, honestly, if you ask me. These are pretty meh buffs, honestly. They're something, but it's whatever. It's whatever. And then finally here we have optimized Soul Weaver cobweb placement logic to reduce cases where the speed boost is not activated when placed inside or behind an obstacle. Okay, so optimize logic on the webs. That's really nice because sometimes it just ends up in a corner and you just can't use it. Then we have slightly expanded the hit detection, vertical and horizontal detection range of spider webs. Okay, that's nice, I guess. And then from stage 2 onwards, spider web recovery speed increases from 0.2 seconds to 0.4 seconds. Ooh, they buffed her full presence. She gets more webs. Oh my gosh, they actually gave Weaver a full presence ability. Her full presence is so garbage. It's so nothing. But now she gets 0.2 webs per second faster. That's nice. That is nice. That is very nice for Weaver. That's gonna help her pick up potentially another kill. If she gets to full presence, it's gonna help her pick up another kill. Maybe like secure a draw even more. That's nice. That's a nice buff. That is a very nice buff. Not hugely significant. Doesn't change her character. Doesn't make her broken by any means. But that is a nice buff. That is a nice solid buff. All right, before we end things off here, let's actually do a quick little recap and rate all the buffs here on a little bit of a tier list. The nerfs, there's only 3 characters, obviously. Hullabaloo and Goatman Nerfs, they matter a lot. I think they do. That's gonna completely hurt them a lot. They're still going to be very, very strong characters. Still probably the 2 best in the game, but that's going to hurt them a whole lot. And then mechanic is, it's a nerf. She kind of got a slap on the wrist. I'm honestly surprised she didn't get more. All right, so first up we have Mind's Eye. I think Mind's Eye is gonna go into here because she has a 5% increase on her cane, or I guess decrease on her cane cooldown. She has that weird effect where hunters can't see the outline of survivors. I didn't know that was a thing. And then she has a faster vaulting speed from 22%. I thought it was 23, but it goes down to 15, which is really, really nice for her. So yeah, she probably falls right here. Now next up we have Miss Melly. And I think Melly is going to go into very good buff. Melly has a very nice buff here. 5-second faster cooldown on bees. Durability of bees is increased by 5%. That was 40 to 35. So I'm not really sure how that works with like individual hits, but I think it's going to be 17.5 instead of 20% on an individual hit, I think. We'll see. And then now the survivors nearby can also see your bees, which is going to be so helpful. In solo queue especially. Maybe not so much when you're in a 4-stack of teams, but the biggest thing is that cooldown and durability on her bees is going to be a little better. Is it game-changing? No. Is it a very nice buff though? Yes, it is going to be a very nice buff for Melly. Next up, we have a Gravekeeper buff here, which is if his shovel's interrupted, instead of losing his shovel, it only is reduced by 10 seconds. This, in my personal opinion, is actually game-changing. The more I thought about it, yes, this is game-changing because so many times has Grave been cheesed out of losing one of his shovels, but like shovel is such a good ability. It is so good. And with a 30, it lost for 30 seconds, right? I think it's a 30-second long when you're in that shovel. And now it's just like, oh, you're only in it for 20 seconds, but you still have the shovel. You can still do something with that shovel. That is still one resource that you have that is no longer interrupted. And it's like a potentially 20-second long cutting ability. That is game-changing. That is incredibly game-changing. You can eat a hit with that. You could like walk out with that. That's game-changing, if you ask me. This is another insanely nice buff for Grave. Grave just keeps getting littered with insane buffs, and he just keeps getting stronger and stronger. They literally keep buffing him. I don't know why, but they literally keep buffing him. Next up is the Mage buffs. As a reminder, Mage has a 10% increase on the speed from 40 to 50%. He can now vault windows during the animation, it seems. He also can walk through his own illusion, which is really good. And also the illusion now takes cats and hermit charges, which is super nice. So yeah, that's going to be so good. And also when the hunter hits the wand, he gets another speed boost. Another speed boost. It just comes back again for 2 seconds, 50% speed boost. That's game changing if you ask me. That is completely game changing. That makes him so much better. Because he can just put up 3 of his own pallets essentially and just be like, yeah, I get a speed boost. You know, you hit my wand at a god pallet. He basically can just create 3 god pallets for himself if he needs them. And he gets a speed boost from it. That's so nice. That is incredibly nice. They really made Mage a lot better. Mages might actually be the best. I think I'll put Graves ahead just for now because Shovel is a really strong ability. But yeah, Mage is super good. Extremely good buff. Next up was Embalmers. And Embalmers he has the invincibility change on the name, doesn't really matter. Optimize the coffin thing, doesn't really matter. But you have that immunity to wax, naiad water, and corrosion, which is really nice for a little bit. And then you get a little bit of a speed bonus before the bubble pops for 40% for 1 second. And that is nice, but nothing crazy. I don't think it's gonna matter. It's really not gonna matter, but it's nice. It's something, you know, I wouldn't even put it in something. I think it's a nice little buff. It's a nice little buff for sure. As for Explorer, Explorer essentially got a 8% increase on decoding speed for every successful calibration. I don't know if that needs to be perfect. He also has it so his pages will not be 70 meters away or more, which is really nice because you won't have to walk as far. And now he won't get spotted out by features, tentacles, or Hullabaloo, which is also very, very nice. So I honestly think this is I think I'll put him in solid buff because it doesn't, make him crazy or anything. But this is a solid buff for Explorer. Makes his bad matchups better, and it makes his Cypher Rush faster, essentially, which is quite good for Mr. Explorer. Next up is Lucky Guy. Lucky Guy also falls under, in my opinion, I think this is going to be a solid buff. Not like a nice, but anything crazy, but the faster chest opening is good because he can open up chests faster, which leads to faster Cypher Rush, which means he doesn't have to spend more time with the chest. He can get more wands now, and wands got buffed, so I guess the wands maybe can take the cat and hermit charges against other people, but they don't get the speed boost from it, and then stars can also walk through it, so decoy is a little better now. Not crazy, but a little better. They don't get the speed bonus from it, though. They still get Terror Shock from it, too. I really wish they would get rid of that. And then he also has that wish failure system now. So like if he fails the wish, you get a gun, pocket watch, bot, guaranteed. Something that's 50%, whatever the rest of the things were. I think that's a solid buff for Lucky though. Lucky got a solid buff. Next up we have Cowboy. I don't really know what Cowboy's was. It didn't really seem that good. I'm gonna put it down in it's something. It was like the lasso when the hunter is vaulting or something. I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know. That doesn't really make any sense to me. Next up, we had Patient Buffs. Patient is a solid buff. This is a very solid buff for Patient because no longer can survivors interrupt your hooks. You can now turn off and on the vault hook, which is really nice. So you can like kick off walls or vault them depending on what you feel like. And then your hook animation is faster, so the hunter can't hit you out of the hook animation as much. So that is really, really, really nice for Patient. That is a solid buff. It would have been an insanely good buff if his hook was interrupted, but you still get to keep the hook. That would have been insanely game changing. But no, he just gets a solid buff here. Next up is Little Child, and Little Child also goes into solid buff. Her page cooldown is, or her page charge, I should say, is better now. It's now 1.6 instead of 1.25 at the start of the game. She can cancel her page by vaulting windows and pallets, which I guess that's a thing now. And then she also has more range with her page as well. It's the push distance goes farther with the page, which is really nice. So it'll push you farther and the hunter farther back, which means more distance, which equals good. Next buff was that weird lizard buff where his balloon hitbox animation is like, it's extended. I guess there's the whole magic lizard thing. I don't really know what's up with that. I don't know if that was his name or what. I'm pretty sure that just falls under it's something. It's not really a buff. It's just like, oh, your balloon hitbox is better. Cool. Okay, that's so hyper niche. That's totally gonna help you, bro. Clerk also got her like adjustment. I don't really count that as a buff. That's like a control adjustment. That's not really a buff. Next up, we got some really significant buffs for Wu Chang. I don't think these are game changing. I'm gonna put them in very good for now. But Bell cooldown goes from 15 to 14. I believe that was Bell cooldown. The debuffs that you get for when he puts an umbrella on you last for 3 seconds longer, from 5 to 8. White Guard's normal hitbox range goes from 2.95 to 3.15, so it's a 0.2 meter increase. That's crazy. And then Blackguard's normal attack range goes from 0.78 to 3.06. That is a significant increase in range. That is a 0.28 meter increase on the range, and then a 0.16 increase on the charge attack from 3.04 to 3.2 meters. So his range essentially got a lot better. The biggest thing is his range is more consistent on his attacks, which is super, super nice for Wu Chang. Next up, we have Bonbon. And Bonbon, I think this is potentially game-changing. It's a little weird, right? It's a little weird. I think we need to see it first. I might have to put him down here because the translation was just so awkward. But essentially, Remote Bomb is now 30-second cooldown instead of 35. He can also activate it a little bit faster, it seems, or like activation motion time. I don't know. I think like when he hops, like he does that little, that little jump maybe when he hits a Remote Bomb. I'm guessing that time is reduced, where that little hop, where he has to stand still. I don't know. I'm guessing that's just, shorter. And then he has like the built-in sadist thing, and then can also put down multiple bombs at once, and that whole effect that could be like potentially game-changing for him, make his camp insanely good. But honestly, I don't know. I think I need to see it first But for now, it's in very good buff. Could potentially be game-changing, but the translation is kind of tricky. Next up is Gamekeeper. Gamekeeper was a very, very small adjustment. You know, the recovery period from when he misses a swing is now increased by, or reduced by 0.3 seconds, which is really nice. He can spam attacks faster. And then Pressure of Hatred, whatever that was, I think that's just the hook. Like the hook stumble range is now increased by 20%. That's pretty good for him. Honestly, I would say nice, but not anything crazy for now. I don't think that's going to be super significant, but it's just going to help in the long run for him to feel a little less clunky. Next up, we have Wheel Buffs, where the spike cooldown, where you like the in-between spikes, it goes from 5 seconds to 4 seconds. His charge time for his wheel, like speed boost, goes from 16 to 14 seconds, so you got more of them. Nail board flight speed, I'm guessing that's just like his speed boost. It's increased by 20%. That's quite nice. And the cooldown switching form goes from 7 to 5. That's a solid buff. That's a solid buff. You got a lot of nice little adjustments there. Flywheel still kills him again. Flywheel does still kill him. But a lot of nice little cooldown adjustments and quality of life adjustments there for Wheel is really going to help him out as well. Next up, we have the Fool's Gold buff. Essentially, he is able to use Full Presence a little more often. Instead of 20 seconds, it's now 16 seconds for the cooldown of Full Presence, and it takes 0.25 less seconds to charge up. So it goes from 1.5 to like 1.25. And that was basically, he also got like some logic adjustment on his dash. Honestly, I'm going to put that in nice, but not anything crazy. I don't think that's really going to matter that much. Fool's Gold Full Presence is really not that big of a thing to deal with. It's like, it's tough, but you can still bait it. Like this really doesn't do that much. It's nice, but not anything crazy. Again, his kit is still very mid. Very, very mid. Honestly, very, very mid. The Clown buffs, though, I think the Clown buffs are solid. This is a solid buff because he has better logic. Because he has better logic when you're dashing, if you like charge into something or not. When you crash, you have increased or reduced end lag on the crash. I think it's 0.2 less on a pallet, and then 0.3 less when you crash into something random. And when you get interrupted on your infinite rocket dash or any other parts that you're using, if you get interrupted at any part and you have a part on your thing, you know, on your rocket, you get it back if the server interrupts you. So that's pretty cool. You have to re-equip it, but you do get it back, so that's going to be super nice. And then he has a modification time reduction, 2, 3, and 4, where his modification times, they've been reduced to 1.5, 2.4, and 3.3. So very small little adjustments there, but it does help in the long run. So that's a solid buff for Smiley, if you ask me. Percy got some adjustments. I'm not entirely sure what they were, but I guess like the slam hitbox has a more optimized hit detection. Reduce the end lag on the slam slash, or like the upward part of the flying slash. I don't know, it's the one where he goes up in the air. I don't know if it's the first part or the second part. And then his Big Percy Blast has like better range and speed, I guess, or like less startup lag. I don't really know. The translation was a little weird. I'm gonna just put that in nice, not anything crazy, honestly. I need to see it in the test server, but so far it's whatever. It honestly doesn't do much. Finally, for Soul Weaver, she has better logic on her webs. That's the biggest thing, is just better logic on the webs. And then her Full Presence allows her to get webs a little more faster. I'm going to put that in probably solid buff. That makes her Full Presence a lot better because she gets more webs more often. And that's going to make Weaver snowball pretty well at Full Presence. Because her Full Presence is pretty weak right now, so this definitely does help her. Not by a lot, but just by a little bit. So yeah, I think that is going to be the tier list there. So yeah, everybody, let me know what you think about the latest buffs and nerfs. Honestly, this has been one of the biggest patches we've ever had. This is kind of insane to me, kind of insane. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. I'm really curious to know what you guys think. All right, so we're actually getting some map adjustments here as well. I actually almost missed this on my first looking into these adjustments here. But we have, I just want to say this. I have been playing Identity 5 for almost 2 years, a little over a year and a half right now. About a year and 9 months, right? So I'm coming up on 2 years. In my entire time playing Identity 5, they have yet to update a single map outside of Darkwoods. And I think Darkwoods has only been like graphics adjustment. I don't think they've ever added in like new palettes or windows or stuff in Darkwoods. And every other map has been completely untouched to my knowledge, outside of like optimizations. They have yet to like add new palettes, take away palettes, add new windows, stuff like that, right? It has been a very, very long time, but it looks like we finally have some adjustments here. So the first one here is weakened the strong position, or the strong position at the main gate of the munitions factory and the board area inside the factory. Okay, so the strong position at the main gate near factory gate and the board area inside the factory. Okay, I'm assuming they nerfed factory, right? Because factory has like what? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pallets like in that corner, and then there's like 3 more pallets. Like they're more mind gaming pallets, but there's like 3 more pallets toward factory gate. There's a lot of pallets. There are a lot of pallets. So I'm guessing maybe they took away one of those pallets. Maybe they made it harder to loop for survivors. Either way, though, I'm glad that they're weakening that area because Arms Factory is really, really stupidly strong for survivors. And it looks like, oh, thank goodness, they're going to be weakening Sacred Heart Hospital. Let's see, weaken 2 board areas in the strong attic position of Sacred Heart Hospital. Okay, in the strong attic position, I don't really know what that means. Or the 2 board areas. Yeah, I really don't know what this means, honestly. The strong attic position, I can only assume that's like, it wouldn't be Shag, right? It wouldn't be right outside Shag. Why would they call it attic? Why would you call attic? Like, is it upstairs? Maybe they took out the pallet upstairs? I don't really know what this means. And either way, though, I'm really happy to see Sacred Heart Hospital nerfs. Replaced a low obstacle on Lakeside Village Beach with a taller wall. So that's a buff, actually. This is a buff to Lakeside. This is gonna make things harder for the hunters because stuff like Wax, Gamekeeper, maybe even like Geisha, it's gonna be harder for them to use their abilities over that wall. Then we have reduced the number of corn models in the cornfield and added 1 plank area. This is, depending on how you think about buff or nerf, because cornfield is a pretty good spot to hide because there's just so much junk in there. But now there's gonna be less corn. So it's gonna be nice for hunters to be able to keep track of their targets. It's gonna be harder to see, but they did add a plank area, which means they probably added in a pallet in cornfield somewhere. So I don't know where they added it in, but there's gonna be an extra pallet in cornfield, so that's gonna be pretty annoying for hunters. Then we have added 1 plank area between the center and the small boat. So between the center and the small boat, I'm guessing that's like mid and small boat. I'm not really sure where that would be, because would they count that as in between mid and logs, or in between mid and the directly small boat? Because there's already 2 pallets. There's like that 2 like mind gamey pallets near like outside small boat. So maybe there's another one, I guess. Maybe they added another pallet there or something. That could be interesting. So I'm guessing, looks like they're buffing Lakeside Village for survivors here, mostly. This seems like making these 2 maps more hunter-sided, making this map a little more survivor-sided. And let's see here. Adjusted, this is Moonlit. Adjusted the opening of the entrance to the 2nd floor tent at Moon River Park. What? The opening of the entrance to the 2nd floor tent. I'm guessing that's in 2-story. Oh, maybe so hunters can't just like completely body block one side. You have to go on the other. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Because the thing is, hunters can just like sit at the window and you have to go all the way around. It's so cringe, bro. It is so cringe. I think some hunters can, but I know like a lot of hunters, like you have to like go all the way around, bro. It's so cringe. So maybe they're widening it so they can't do that anymore. And let's see, added a board area to the intersection west of the abandoned merry-go-round and the first station. Okay, so that's the broken carousel near Cypher Bridge, and then toward first station. But there's already pallets there. I guess they added another pallet or something? Because there's already 4 pallets in that area. I mean, like 5 potentially, actually 5 technically in that area. So I guess they're making that area a little stronger. I don't know. I'm not really sure what's up with that. So either way, they're making Moonlit a little more survivor-sided, just ever so slightly. I mean, Moonlit is a heavily hunter-sided map, so honestly, I'll take anything we can get from Moonlit. And then let's see here. Weakened the Forest of Sin hut. Okay. I don't know what that means. Added 1 board area to the side gate. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Strong position and 1 to the campsite. All right. But people think the Darkwoods is relatively survivor sided though, so I don't know. And then changes have been made so that 3 rocket chairs do not appear at the same time in the campfire area. Oh, so we don't get to summon Dream Witch anymore, is that right? That's actually kind of sad. That was like the Easter egg. You get like chair 3 survivors there, and then Dream Witch is there, like all little followers are there, and they do things. Well, that's kind of sad. Okay. So it seems like our Arms Factory is getting a little more hunter-sided, and so is Hospital. But they're still going to be extremely survivor-sided maps. Lakeside is becoming more balanced, more survivor-sided, it looks like. Moonlit is hunter-sided right now. It looks like they're going to try to favorite for survivors a little bit. And then Darkwoods is pretty 50-50. I feel like it's very character-dependent. This is a heavily character-dependent map because that Vines area is so hit or miss, bro. Like some hunters get completely shut down, like Naiad, but then other hunters like dominate in that area, like Geisha. Like Geisha loves Vines area, bro. And even stuff like Feaster can cook really hard in there as well. So yeah, interesting map adjustments, I must say. Anyways, everybody, I think that's going to be everything for today. That was a lot of patch adjustments that we had to cover. Just let me know your thoughts on all the buffs and nerfs and map adjustments. Oh man, this is one of the biggest patches we have got in a very, very long time. Huge, absolutely huge patch. Anyway, though, it is 5 a.m. I need to get some sleep. We got Koa tomorrow or later today. I'm excited. There's a lot of stuff that we have to do before it begins and while it's happening. So, I don't know. I'm excited. Let me know your thoughts. I'll catch you later, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.